All right, Vince, the car's coming out of turn 4. The Aurora pace car pulls down. The green is back out. Let's sit back and enjoy it. The restart.
It's going to be quite an exciting race here with Buddy Lazier out in front, Greg Ray right behind him right now. And Greg Ray wants to have that position back because he's the guy that did not finish the first 2 races. He needs to be up front. He wants to win this race.
So if you're in this position right now, you want to be back up front even though it's early in the race?
I'd like to be back up front if I were Greg Ray because I need every point I can get. Leading the most laps in the race will give you an extra point as well.
And look at Donnie Beechler now. Beechler's climbed to 7th position.
But Buddy Lazier is the man of the hour right now. And there are cars all over this racetrack engaged in battles. But for the Delta Faucet Coors Light purple car, as you look out the back, you can get a taste of just how close Greg Ray is to the rear wing of Buddy Lazier.
And if you look at these two, they have significant different lines going through 3 and 4. Buddy is driving pretty high on the racetrack. And if you could do that in 3 and 4 with the bumps there, it means that you have a good race car.
Buddy Lazier makes the difference with the Himmelgarn team in the pits. He's in first position. Goodyear went from 2nd to 3rd. And look at this challenge on the inside. Greg Ray says, hey, fella, I'm the pole sitter. Now we look at Buddy Lazier's cars. He gives up first position now.
Not for long. He's coming back at
Oh, this is some great wheel-to-wheel battling right here.
There you go. He's back. Whoa! Oh, my goodness.
So close. That was less than an inch and a half away. Buddy Lazier has battled back, Dave.
All right, does that get your attention?
That was too close. I don't think Buddy knew he was that close.
Harry used to call those what?
Those are moments.
That was a moment, all right.
That could have been a real bad moment. That really, really good. They missed each other there.
Buddy Lazier now. There's his stretching the lead.
I think
finish line.
I think Greg Ray said, you know what, I'm just going to let Buddy lead here for a while.
That's right.
I'll see you a little bit later.
158 laps to go. And Donnie Beechler back to 5th position now. There goes Greg Ray.
Oh, boy, Eddie Cheever is doing it again, starting in 18th place. Eddie is in 4th place right now, and he's 5.8 seconds behind the leader, and he's looking.
There he is.
Cheever in the blue, yellow striped, and purple, or actually blue top and a red stripe in the middle of your screen. He started, as we said, with a brand new power plant now, Infinity, beneath the hood of the children's beverage number 51. And how about Donnie Beechler in the black car? Your guy, Sam Schmidt, has just gone by Beechler to take over the 5th spot. And it looks like Schmidt is going to take a beat as we ride on board with Sam Schmidt. It looks like Cheever and Schmidt are going to be engaged in the battle here shortly.
That's right. There's Sam Schmidt following Eddie Cheever, and these guys are pretty close to Scott Goodyear as well.
Battling for 4th position right now. Sam Schmidt is in 5th position. That's who we're riding with right now, and he's trying to climb up into 4th.
Now, for the unaccustomed to IndyCar racing, you may look at this and say, hey, this isn't a battle for position. But if you're this close, you're in the slipstream of these cars. And I'll tell you what, you can get a stab and steer and take that position at any time.
We just saw Sam Schmidt there in the left-hand side. In the left-hand side of the car, he was working on something, which is the weight jacker. There's a control knob right here. He turns it to the left and gives him more crossweight to the left. Sam is battling, I would think, understeer. The car doesn't want to turn in that good. And he's changing it right here, as you can see, on the left.
He continues to closing in on Eddie Cheever right now. Cheever in 3rd. Buddy Lazier still the race leader. There's Cheever to the left of your screen. Now, let's go back to the front of the pack, and there's the leader right there, Lazier and Greg Ray. Now we're looking at Buddy Lazier's car.
Anytime you're running in 2nd place like Greg Ray is doing right here, he looks ahead of him and he can see traffic coming up. That's the time where he's thinking, now the leader is going to be held up by the traffic. This is my time to make a move. That's what he's looking at each time he sees traffic ahead.
On the backside of Buddy Lazier's car, let's get an update from Calvin Fish.
I just spoke to Ron Hamilgarn, and they said that Buddy is running the primary Goodyear tire. This is a little harder tire compound. This is why they felt he qualified relatively poorly. An update on the sister car, the number 92 car, driven by Johnny Unser for the first time this year. They had an electrical problem. They burnt some wiring. They replaced it. He's back on track. Vince Welch has another story further down pit lane.
A couple of pit reports on those recent stops. First of all, for the 3rd place team of Scott Goodyear, they just put in 1 turn of wing. They like the car. They're just being patient. They're on the lead lap and running towards the front. Dick Karen told me that when Eddie Cheever came in, they simply changed tire pressure again. He's happy with the car. They moved to the front, and for let's just wait and see what happens with the leaders.
All right, thank you, Vince. Eddie Cheever now looking low on the yellow car. That's the Pennzoil machine. Back on board with Sam Schmidt.
That's for third place.
And that is a battle directly in front of him for the third position. Scott Goodyear is in the yellow car as he goes into one and weaving back and forth. All Sam Schmidt sees is Eddie Cheever in the red and blue car, and he's in the fourth spot. So those three cars are engaged in a torrid battle, guys.
Scott Goodyear, Panther Pennzoil. That's the view from what's behind him right now as he looks in the mirrors and see some sparks popping up right there.
That's the car bottoming out still. The car is still relatively full of fuel in these laps.
You'll notice in the background audio, you'll hear some noise. That's the radio traffic with Scott Goodyear talking to his crew in the pit area.
Buddy Lazier, in the meantime, has pulled to a 3-second lead over Greg Ray. Buddy is a former member of the U.S. ski team, and until he decided to get bit by the racing bug, many people in the Vail, Colorado area thought that Buddy Lazier would be an Olympian. That's not the case. You can't see. Well, you can.
Oh,
There's Greg Ray all the way back there. And, you know, you're covering this racetrack at 220 miles an hour.
We have a big accident in turn 4 right now. A big accident coming out of turn 4. And some serious fire coming out of Stan Waddle's car. Serious flames coming out of the machine.
John Paul Jr. as well.
So a heavy hit coming out of turn 4 right now. John Paul Jr. involved along with Stan Waddles, and they both come to a stop. This is Stan Waddles climbing out of the car right now.
That fire that you saw, though, was an oil fire. No, well, you could be a little concerned, but because these cars run methanol, you wouldn't see that fire, and that's generally from breaking oil lines. So that was good news.
This was a horrific crash because you could hear the impact. John Paul made a big impact in turn 4, and but he's moving. He's nodding his head, and that's good news.
Crew's on the scene quickly, and we were just talking about how Buddy Lazier had just started to stretch his lead and really pull away. This will help Greg Ray.
Right now, there's a little bit of confusion going on. We got a lot of guys going through the pits because they don't want to run through the debris there, and they don't want to cut their tires. And there's guys running out on the racetrack, so the pace car will have to pick up the leader here pretty soon.
So the race leader makes it through the traffic. This is Buddy Lazier's view as he collects the pace car now and finds his way through all the debris as they come through turn 4.
Let's go back and take a look at this accident because it got our attention. Way up there is when they first got into the wall. Both cars, Waddle in the yellow car. What a big hit in the secondary hit. Flashes the fire. Likewise for John Paul. That's when the oil lines broke.
It's on camera 9. It's on 9.
This is after the crash, but what I saw on that first replay was I saw sparks coming from John Paul's car before he hit the wall. There's a possibility that John Paul had a major problem before he hit the wall. And that looks really bad, and great that it went out right away.
That will get your attention. So Stan Waddles, Metro Racing now. They're checking out Stan Waddles as he sits on the front end of the car here. The Visionaire 500K, 62 laps complete. Buddy Lazier and Greg Ray battling up front right now. We have more exciting action coming up, and I hope you'll stay with us. Welcome back to the Visionaire 500K. John Paul Jr. climbing in the back of the ambulance, and he is okay. It's good to see him walking to the ambulance under his own power. This is the Visionaire 500K. I'm Dave Calambre along with Jack Root, R.A. Lyondike. You're looking at Stan Waddles right now. Down in the pit areas, Calvin Fish and Vince Welsh covering this action here today. And a lot of things going on right now.
That's Scott Harrington because he was trying to get the car, his car, refired. They didn't refire. Now he's going to hustle back to pit road. Well, he actually went to pit road, and now he's going to go back out to his car. He's just a little bit more speed to make it in time.
He's making quite an effort there. That's quite a long run.
Now let's go back and take a look at this accident. We're going to try and dissect it for you. Up in this area is where I want you to watch as we roll it. The first car will be a yellow car, and that will be Stan Waddles. Hold it. Stop. Right there, he has already hit the wall. Now roll it again. As a reaction to that, Ari.
Right there, John Paul Jr. also hits the wall, but to me it looks like he picked up a puncture because of the stuff laying on the track, because of the other car, and that's why he just went straight into the wall.
Let's go down to Vince Welch standing by with one of the team owners, Jonathan Bird.
Very astute analysis, Ari, because that's exactly what the spotters have told Jonathan Bird, that John Paul went through debris, and that's what caused him to crash. Jonathan Bird, a brand new race car for your team, and I know most importantly your driver is okay, but it's been a tough month for your team.
Yeah, it's really been tough this year. This is the third race in a row that we've been caught up in somebody else's problem, and John Paul, I was just glad to see that he was able to get out of the car, even though they had to help him to the ambulance. This is the third car we've lost this year, and we were really hoping to have a clean race for Visionaire, just being there racing on, and go into Indy on a high note. But maybe we've just used up all of the bad for this year, and we'll go to Indy and do a good job. But right now it's time to go sort it out and figure out what I got to do.
Very frustrating finish for Jonathan Bird's team and, of course, the driver, John Paul.
Thank you, Vince. Dan Waddles now getting into the ambulance for the mandatory ride to the hospital to be checked out. And Buddy Lazier, during the yellow, has made a pit stop. There you see Stan Waddles waving to the crowd, and Greg Ray also.
And paybacks are indeed entitled to these drivers, because Buddy Lazier came out in the last one. Greg Ray came out in the other one. Let's go to Calvin Fish.
Well, there's conversation going on now between Scott Harrington and Darryl Soper, the engineer. We're going to put the mic in now.
You got another helmet? You got another helmet?
There's some concern. They believe that Scott didn't hit the wall, and they think he can get back in the car. Why do you need a new helmet, Scott? You lost radio communication?
Yeah, the cord broke on the helmet, and so anyway, we need to get a new helmet on.
What happened out there with JP and Waddles?
It looked like Waddles got in the pits on his own, and looked like JP lost it trying to miss him. I got on the binders and missed it, but then they both started coming across in front of me, and I had to get in the grass, and the grass is wet, and it came around in the grass, and luckily when I got back on the asphalt, I got on the brakes, locked them up, and it blew the tires out. But we kept it out of the fence, but they wouldn't tow me around because we had flat tires. So
is that right?
They're bringing the car back around on the tow truck, and hopefully we get back in this thing.
You sound like you're out of breath. You've been running around. Hopefully we can get another helmet so you can maintain radio communication. But you think that the car's okay with a new set of tires?
Yeah, it should be. You know, it's just a long run from the other side of the start-finish line to our pit, so we just ran down here to try to get back in. But yeah, the car should be fine. You know, we're struggling a little bit this weekend, but the car was pretty good, so we'll see if we can keep it up.
Well, Scott had a career best 5th place finish at Phoenix, guys. He's currently in the top 10 in points. They want to get back on the road and try and go into Indy's in the top 20.
Well, what an effort by Scott Harrington just to get this race team put together in the last couple of weeks before the season began for the Pep Boys Indy Racing League. Greg Ray, the race leader, is pitting. And actually, he's just passing through the pits right now as the yellow is still out. Cleanup continues. Scott Goodyear in 2nd, Eddie Cheever in 3rd, Sam Schmidt in 4th, and Beechler's in 5th. It's the Visionaire 500K, and Buddy Lazier's ready to go back racing. Hope you'll stay with us for much more action